Hi, Kim Rayner here. Welcome to episode 10 of All About Spirits, Life After Cancer. And as you can see from my environment, shaky as it might be right now, that we had a little bit of snow last night. So I'm excited about that. I love this time of year. I love the snow, and I love to be outside in it. So anyways, welcome to episode 10 of All About Spirits, Life After Cancer. Today's episode is called 7 Steps to Giving and Getting Support When You Have Cancer. And today's show came about because of an email message that I got from a friend of mine who shared that she has 2 people in her life that were recently diagnosed with cancer. And in the reach out message that she sent to me, one of the things that she said is the hardest thing to deal with is being vulnerable. It is so hard to make myself available. It is so hard. You know, she shared some things about her family and stuff. And I know from my own personal experience that that is absolutely the truth. Vulnerability in the process of cancer, whether you're the survivor or you're supporting the survivor, whether it's some other kind of health catastrophe or sometimes just life in general, that vulnerability can be really, really hard. So when we talk about vulnerability, right, when we have life stuff going on, when we have cancer going on, we have fear and there's grief and there's disappointment and sometimes we have shame. And while all that stuff is going on, vulnerability is absolutely the last thing that I want to be. So, what do I do with that? How do I deal with that? And we live in a culture, and I'm just going to tell you that a lot of this information, it comes from the work of Brene Brown, and she was one of my go-to people when I was going through my experience, not only of cancer, but actually since then, anytime that I have bumped into life-changing or things that feel like problems to me, I absolutely check into Brene Brown, and I'll put her information in the comment section at the end of the post today. I'll share some information about her and where you can go to get information from her. So, one of the things that we do is we numb out. We try to avoid our feelings. We try to hide them. We try to pretend that they don't exist. And one of the ways that we do that numbing is we try to take things that are uncertain, like my cancer diagnosis, and we try to turn them into something that is certain. And how I did that was to say, okay, I have stage 3C ovarian cancer, and the prognosis for that is it's going to come back in a year. If I live that year, it's going to for sure be back in 5 years. So I take what's uncertain and I try to make it be something certain. Well, because I'm more than 10 years out since then, I can clearly see that that process wasn't the truth, it wasn't accurate, and that it wasn't helpful for me to try and take the uncertainty of my diagnosis and turn it into something concrete. But I absolutely know in my heart of hearts that that's a normal reaction, because it's hard for us to sit in that space of uncertainty. It's hard to allow those feelings, that fear, to just be present and say, okay, there's nothing I can do about this. I'm powerless over this, and I just need to allow it to be. Not necessarily what we like to do, but it is something that is, we'll talk about that, and it's something that's important because I really can't change the diagnosis. So numbing by trying to take uncertainty and turning it into certainty is normal, but not terribly helpful. Another thing that we do is, we try to blame people, ourselves, God, to try and discharge some of that energy that we're feeling. And that's not terribly helpful either. The truth is, in my case, there isn't anybody to blame when I got cancer. There isn't anybody to blame. It wasn't my family. It wasn't my upbringing. It wasn't circumstances in my life. There just wasn't anything to blame. And yet, assigning blame gave me the opportunity, or at least it felt like it gave me the opportunity to discharge some of that anxiety, some of that energy. It gave me something to focus on. So another thing that we do is we try to step into this place of perfection. You know, everything has to look just so. The house has to be exactly the right way. The laundry has to be folded the right way. The dishes have to be done the right way. And we start to try and fix things and manage things and control things just to get a handle on it, just to try and make everything be perfect, because everything feels so unperfect in the process. And, you know, other ways that we try to numb things out, you know, we pretend that what's going on doesn't matter. It's no big deal. It's no big deal. I'll be through it and it'll all be fine. Or we pretend that how people are acting around us, like that doesn't matter. Or we may pretend how we're acting doesn't matter, right? I get into a tirade, I feel angry, and I take it out on the people who are close to me and the people I love, and then I just walk around and pretend that that doesn't matter, that's not important. And that's not helpful either. Again, a normal reaction, lots of us do it, but not terribly helpful in the process of building a support network or getting help. You know, some of the other common things we do to numb out, you know, we eat, we drink, we take drugs, we binge watch on Netflix, you know, we sit and play video games, we just try and find ways to avoid something else to occupy our mind. And what happens when we do that is we end up blocking exactly the thing that we're trying to get more of in our life. We block love. We block support. We block joy. We block the sense of belonging. We block being connected to the people who we're trying to be connected to. Because you can't play in both worlds at the same time. You can't have your feet in numbing and blocking and be inviting in joy and support and belonging. So, you know, okay, great. We've identified the problem. Now give me something to do about it. How do I begin to address this? How do I begin to change some of this stuff how do I do that? So this again is, you know, right out of the work of Brene Brown, and she's such a powerful, powerful researcher, and I'm so appreciative of the work she did. One of the things that she talks about, and that has been really helpful for me, is to find a way to get authentic, to get real about what's going on. If I'm angry, I can talk about being angry. That doesn't mean I'm taking a baseball bat and whacking things with it. I can just talk about being angry. If I'm scared, I can talk about being scared. I can be where I am, and I can share that information honestly with the people I care about and with the people who care about me. There's also, number 2, is to really let myself be seen. My way of being in the world has historically been, I don't want you to see me cry. I don't want you to see that I'm hurting. I don't want you to see that there's bad things going on in my life. I don't want you to see that I'm not perfect. I don't want you to see that I have problems and that there's financial stuff going on and that I'm scared for my future. So, number 2 is allowing myself to be seen. It's being real about what's happening. It is, you know, not puffing up and pretending that I'm a peacock flying around the world, and not pretending that I'm so horrible and that you need to scrape me off the bottom of your shoe, you know? It's just being seen for who I am, how I am, and where I am. And, you know, doing this show every week is a big part of that for me. It's hard to let myself be seen, but I know that I survived this, and I know that you can too. And I know that you can support people who are surviving it, because I've sat on both sides. So letting myself be seen is part of that process. Item number 3 is to love, even if there's no guarantee, right? There's no guarantee that things are going to turn out the way that I want them to. There's no guarantee that the people are going to love me back. But to put that out there and love anyways. This is all about finding ways to be vulnerable. It's about finding ways to be authentic. It's about finding ways to take the risk and to say, okay, I can do this. Another thing is to participate in whatever is going on wholeheartedly. So if you're participating in your treatment, participate in your treatment wholeheartedly. if you are supporting someone who's going through cancer and you are sitting next to their bed and you want to cry, cry. Take their hand and cry. Hold them, support them. Hold yourself, support yourself. And do that wholeheartedly with all of your heart, with every aspect, every fiber of your being. Give yourself permission to do that. And then once you've given yourself permission, then actually take the action. Because just the permission isn't enough. You actually need to take the action. Another thing that's really powerful is to it's to practice gratitude. It's really easy when life is going on and there's bad things that are happening to slip into that place that says, oh man, there is nothing good going on here. I don't have the support. I'm running out of money. Nobody cares. I can't go to work. I can't eat what I want. Everything is icky. I can slip into that really easy. Can I take the time to sit down and create a gratitude list, to find 5 things every day that I'm grateful for? And if I struggle with that, maybe I find a gratitude list buddy where we sit down together and we say, okay, every day I'm going to text you the 5 things that I'm grateful for. And we make a commitment to do that. So finding things to be grateful for in your life and talking about them, because that's going to make more gratitude. It's going to make you more aware of other things that there are to be grateful for. Can you thank the nurse who stands by you and takes an extra second to talk to you about why she's putting the IV in? Can you thank the person who just brought you chicken noodle soup? Can you thank your survivor for being there and having the courage to fight, or having the courage to surrender, whatever it is that they're doing, right? So being grateful. Another thing is to remember that being vulnerable is not weak. It is a huge, huge sign that you're alive. When you're vulnerable, you're on the planet. You are fully engaged. You are living and showing up and doing the deal. So finding a way to shift your mindset about what it means to be vulnerable, instead of thinking about it like, oh, I'm so weak. Man, it takes courage to be vulnerable. It takes courage to let people see you cry. It takes courage to tell people that you're afraid. So give yourself permission to take that action. Give yourself permission to be completely vulnerable. And then the 7th thing in this whole process is to really know and believe in your heart that you are worthy of help and support, that you are worthy to give the support and to offer the support. You're worthy to be here on the planet. You're worthy to work together. You're worthy to spend the time with each other. You're worthy to share. You're worthy. You're breathing. Just the fact that you're alive makes you worthy. It's not about what you do. It's not about where you work. It's not about how much money you have. It's not about any of that stuff. It's absolutely about the fact that you're here. That's enough. So again, just to recap, the 7 steps that you can take to help get the support or give the support is it's all tied into vulnerability. It's all about letting yourself be seen. It's about being authentic. It's about stepping into life and practicing it wholeheartedly. It's about participating. It's about practicing gratitude, about being grateful for the things you have. It's about being vulnerable, and it's about knowing that you're worthy, that you're enough. Just because you exist, you're enough. So I hope that something in this episode was helpful to you. If it was, I hope that you will take the time to, certainly watch the video, like the video if there was something in it that was helpful. If you think it might help somebody else, you could share it. That would be nice for me. It would help get other people access to the information. And post comments or questions that you have, down below the video. And I will see you next week. I hope that you're enjoying the holiday season, no matter what it is that's going on for you. And take care.